The price of Bitcoin fell today, currently sitting at $23,233. We are headed in for that CME gap close or open today. And the question is, what price is that going to occur at? And secondly, how is the price of Bitcoin going to perform over the course of the weekend and going into next week? Well, I've actually got a trade open right now, and that trade is open on Ethereum. If I show you my current open Ethereum trade, as you can see here, is a $735,000 long position, currently sat $18,000 in profit. And as you can see here, my entry on it earlier today was at $1,571. Now, currently sitting at $1,610. I actually increased the size of this trade. This is the same trade that I had open in the previous video. It got melted into a little bit today as the prices fell, but at the same time, my theory isn't changing significantly for Bitcoin. I feel like this is more of a squeeze on the price of Bitcoin because there is also a lot of long positions open. But if you look today at the crypto market, you can see down 3%, down 2%. Ethereum is actually up against Bitcoin, so that's pretty bullish. Bitcoin dominance is down. Like I said, it would go down. And at the same time, the DXY is up today. So in today's video, I'm going to explain a little bit about what is going on with the DXY, how that affects the price of Bitcoin, why I'm bearish on the DXY, and why I believe the DXY going down is going to positively impact the price of Bitcoin going forward. We're also going to discuss the price of XDP and the price of Dafi, both of which, I didn't make a video for like 3 days and the entire market goes, right, well, it must be time to sell, doesn't it? So there's some amazing buying opportunities on the market as well. And those buying opportunities only belong to people that actually buy the dip. And there is some significant profits that can be made from buying the dip. So in today's video, I'm going to explain about all of those things. So if you wouldn't mind, slap a like on it. We're trying to get 1,000 likes on this video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Turn on channel notifications. We're trying to get 100,000 subscribers on the TNG Trades YouTube channel this year. So drop a like, subscribe, and let's crack straight on with it. So first things first, of course, $18,000 profit right now on Ethereum. The MACD is about to cross bullish on Ethereum, so we can probably expect another pump to the upside before the CME gap closes. Now, or it opens. I keep on saying closes. It opens. Now, at the same time, on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, I want to show you something that I've not talked about so recently, is the RSI and the MACD. First of all, on the MACD, it looks pretty low right now. This is giving an indicator that essentially this probably is coming towards the end of this particular downtrend. We appear to have found support today at this lower level, basically trading back within this, I don't know, what would you call it? Kind of like a cone shape, isn't it? I don't do traditional terms, do I? Now, at the same time, of course, we are bouncing up right now on the price of Bitcoin. That looks pretty decent. The MACD is looking decent. The RSI actually found support on its old levels here. So long as that holds, that actually, again, it looks pretty decent in terms of a level of support. And it would make sense at this point in time if the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum started turning around just a little bit. Again, it never seems obvious at the time, but at the same time, it's also important to consider that earlier today, if I get rid of some of these indicators and zoom in on something like the 15-minute chart, earlier today we got a big wick to the downside. It was this one particularly here. And on some of the exchanges, the price reached as low as $22,700. On this particular exchange, which is PHEMEX, on PHEMEX, the price only got as low as $22,886. But on BYBIT, the price went much lower. Now, I believe that that's stop hunting. For me, I'm not over leveraged in my trades right now. I am using some leverage, rather a lot of leverage to be honest, but at the same time, I'm not over leveraged in my trades right now. So a big wick like that doesn't concern me. It doesn't wick me out of my trade. And essentially it gives me the opportunity to buy in at a lower price. And that's what I did earlier today. When I saw the price coming down at such a ferocious pace, I thought, to me, this looks like a buying opportunity, given everything that I know about cryptocurrency, given that the VWAP has bottomed out at this point in time. We're slapping the bottom of the VWAP. Again, I'm not going to make the inappropriate joke. I'm going to resist the temptation there and just not talk about slapping anything. Now, at the same time, we are showing a level of support. As you can see here, I don't need to draw the line, but you can see that there will be a level of support that we appear to be showing. So from my perspective right now, the price of Bitcoin is probably not going to do an awful lot over the course of the weekend because, of course, we're waiting for the DXY. And when looking at the DXY right now, this is how the DXY looks. If you're wondering why Bitcoin's price has been going down, it's because the DXY has been going up. Just remember, look at what Bitcoin's price was doing during this period of time. Bitcoin's price, not during this period. This period was kind of like the peak of the bear market. But this period of time in particular, this is when Bitcoin's price is at its most bullish recently. At the same time, then Bitcoin's price, I'd say for the past kind of 10, 15 days now, has been trading sideways and downwards, which is not a bad thing. It's consolidation. At the same time, the DXY has been going to the upside, but DXY appears to be hitting a pretty strong level of resistance here. And from my perspective, I would be surprised to see the DXY continue its uptrend. It would be pretty weird for it to do day after day after day of uptrend. I know that there was some news that came out earlier today regarding inflation not being the most bullish on earth, but at the same time, it's still not increasing at the same pace that it was doing, and at the same time, it's still not really increasing very significantly at all, which is why I maintain my long position, is why I maintain my bullish bias. And at the point whereby I lose my bullish bias, I'm going to explain that right now. So on the price of Bitcoin, we've got a few things to consider. First things first, look, if we lose the level down at $22,800, things are going to get pretty nasty. That would be because essentially if we lose that level, then we can expect to drop back into this range right here. Let's wait for the volume bands to load on the side of the screen, because essentially you can see if we lost that level, we've got a massive gap in liquidity that would take us all the way back down on Bitcoin's price to around $21,300, $21,500. Again, I wouldn't lose my bullish bias at that point in time. I would just continue adding to my long position on the drop down. I would also have a short covering off my long position so that I could make profit on it if we did lose that level of support. And that's how I would trade that particular instance. Now, at the same time, if we don't lose that level of support, what happens? Well, how do we reconfirm the bullish bias is back in the short term? Well, for that, we need to zoom in a little bit on the chart so I can explain to you exactly what is going on here and how we can know that the bullish bias is back. It's also important to form that right now we are forming a bullish hammer candle, which is looking pretty decent. So that's pretty good news. We also maintain trading in this range right here. It's also important to point out another thing would be that technically we could be in a giant bull flag. That's another thing. But essentially to reconfirm that bullish bias, we need to break back within the previous trading range, which would be this level of resistance right here. Now that level of resistance is currently sat at $23,500. Current price $23,184. From my perspective, if we're back above $23,500, the likelihood of a trade all the way back up to $25,000 seems pretty likely at that point in time. I don't expect the altcoin market to go insanely bullish. For now, though, it's presenting like this negative Bitcoin price over the course of the past few days or whatnot. It's presenting some amazing opportunities in the altcoin market, and two opportunities you'll know all about on the channel. Now, there is another opportunity coming to the channel next week. I'm going to talk about another coin that I believe is going to rise 100 times in price over the course of the next 12 months, and that's going to be next week. It's going to be on the main channel, so make sure you go over to the main channel and subscribe, and make sure you've got channel notifications on here as well, because I'll be covering it on this channel as well. Now, of course, altcoin opportunities right now, one of which is on XTP. XTP currently sat at 47 sats. Now, from my perspective, one of the key reasons why this has probably happened is simply because I didn't make a video the past couple of days, so confidence declines. It's as simple as that. At the same time, I was on track while all of this was happening. I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't offer any support, but at the same time, the price then bounced significantly back to the upside. I tried, again, bumping it earlier today. I tried buying some, and then to me, like, look at the resistance right now in the chart. So resistance is pretty minimal all the way up to 52. And then there's a guy that obviously is in my Telegram group that puts up these like 2 million, 1 million sell orders. If you just pull them, then we could take the price pretty high. At the same time, we have significant price support here, which is looking very decent. Again, on the buy side, there is significantly more volume than on the sell side. So that, again, looks decent for a buy the dip type opportunity, because all you need is the price of Bitcoin to start turning around. Sentiment changes again. And when sentiment changes, prices rise. The same goes for Dafi. And we're going to get on to Dafi in just a second. I've got a whole video coming out about why I'm bullish on Dafi and XTP tomorrow on the main channel. So make sure you are subscribed to the main channel and keep an eye out for that video. But first of all, on the price of XTP, what is it looking like chart-wise? Because a few different things to consider. Let's go to the 12-hour chart on XTP. That looks horrendous, but it's just because it's not loaded the rest of the chart. Come on. Why aren't you loading the rest of the chart? Oh, every time you film a video, it doesn't want to work properly. There we go. Right, on the daily chart right now on XTP, you can see that we're still holding like a giant bullpen formation. And that giant bullpen formation is not like we're lacking volume right now. Volume is still pretty decent, like it's very high. And we're seeing consistently every day above $1 million of volume on tap. So it's not like it's lacking interest. It's just that there are some malicious sellers that rather than putting sells in the order book, drop it into the order book. Simple as. At the same time, you can say that there is an element of incentivization that if you can reduce confidence enough during a period whereby I'm not covering anything on the channel because I'm out racing on track, and you can decrease confidence enough. I believe that what happened on this particular wick to the downside, I believe that somebody had some orders at 36 and 37. They pushed the price all the way down to them. Panic sellers then dumped into their orders, giving them essentially a 50% profit at where the price is currently sit. And then essentially when the price rises back up to 70, they've doubled their money. And that's the game. You've got to play the game. So on XDP right now, I believe the price is going to go back to the upside. Of course I do. I'm heavily invested. You see these sellers coming here on the charts. I believe that they're all making the wrong decision. And of course I maintain my bullish stance. I still hold all of my coins and I continually accumulate more and more coins. My investment into XDP at this point is very significant, and in tomorrow's video you'll find out probably why it's so significant. It's a significant amount of money that I've put into it, and I'll continually plow in more money into it, and the reason for that is quite simply, you're going to find out in tomorrow's video, so keep an eye out for that. In terms of other things to discuss, of course, the price of Dafi. Now, important thing to point out, there's a lot more buys than sells coming through on the price of Dafi. At the same time, much of the selling pressure is going through the Ascendex exchange. Now, the dump down the other day, don't even get me started on that. I'm going to cover that in tomorrow's video as well. It was just nonsensical. Like, this drop here, like, it wound me up. It properly wound me up, because I don't understand why on good news you would drop the price 50%. It's just malicious sellers and then panic sellers providing an opportunity. And now the price actually sits lower than what it did at the bottom of there. Now, I'm going to come back in at some point. I'm going to buy a bunch more coins. No, that'll rise the price again because the liquidity can't sustain my buying pressure. So that's going to happen at some point in time. At the same time, something that's down 20% one day is likely going to rise 20% the next day. So from an arbitrage opportunity, it's probably a good time to arb trade that. But again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Nothing in today's video is financial advice. I'm just vlogging what goes through my head when I'm looking at these charts. So on Dafi, I'm going to load up another bag on this, and I'm going to explain why in tomorrow's video I think that right now is a pretty good buying opportunity, especially given that if you look at the 4-hour chart, we're holding support at these levels. That's pretty decent. We were forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. We dropped out of it. And right now, I mean, from my perspective, this whole dump was heavily manipulated to the downside. It's very disappointing to see, of course. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. There are more announcements coming on Dafi. And it's just going to take time for a lot of things to happen. It comes down to patience at the end of the day. You've got to remember Dafi exchange is coming pretty soon. And when Dafi exchange comes, then the token gains more utility. As it is right now, a lot of people are staking it. So if you aren't already staking your coins, you can stake them. You can earn 27% a year. If you go to Dafi's website, you can get staked coins. Now, at the same time on Dafi, the way their staking model is changing very significantly is it's going to be a profit share on the value of the commissions that go through the exchange, meaning that you will earn commission in all sorts of different altcoins just from holding the Dafi coin. And I think that's a game changer in terms of altcoin utility, hence why I'm happy to buy more, because the market cap is currently sat, what, $14 million? It's tiny. It's a little bean. Anyway, so Dafi, I like the look of right now. TAP, I like the look of right now. Bitcoin, I like the look of right now. And how is my current open trade doing? Towards the end of today's video, my current open trade is now $19,000 in profit on the price of Ethereum. Now, bit of a bloodbath this past week. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. You've got to buy the dips as and when they come, and you've got to treat it like an opportunity, not a punishment. And that's the way that I think of these things. When I see a dip like what we've seen on Bitcoin's price, I see that as an opportunity more so than anything else. And of course, looking at what happened today on the charts, if we zoom out a little bit, you can see the price came down. It's currently, to me, forming a bit of a reversal pattern. This is a textbook cup and handle. So you've got your drop down, you kind of cup sideways, your handle going outwards, and in theory, a bounce back to the upside, back up to the previous level. Now, that could even happen by the end of trading today, and that'll be a bounce up to around $1,640. Over the course of this weekend, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But to be honest, I expect the CME gaps are going to do what they typically do. And so tomorrow, I'm going to update on where that CME gap is. At the same time, then I'm going to take the CME gap trade on Sunday evening. No, not on Sunday evening, on Saturday evening, Sunday morning. That's when I'm going to take the CME gap trade, because that's probably when the gap is going to be the biggest between where the CME gap is. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you have slapped like on today's video. Glad to be back on YouTube. And if you appreciate it, slap a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.